Hi lovelies, hashtag time, tarotcartomancyfirsts, hashtag by my simple path, and this is my response, and let's just jump into it. But before, I will leave the questions and the my simple paths initial video link down below, so you can too participate in this tag. So 5 questions, and the first: when and how did you first find out you had a love for cards? I was a child when we had those playing cards, not like poker cards, but like the I'm not sure how they are in English. They are like black pig in my language, the mustnoitsu. You have to have pairs and switch them, and the odd one out was the black piglet, and who ended up with this card at the end. This person was the black pig or the black piglet and lost the game. Similar to that was the fool game, or the fool, or the what's the joker. Who ended up with the joker? The game had different characters on it, like medieval and you medieval ladies and queens and kings, and the fool card or the joker card was the odd one out, and when you were left, and the cards were really beautiful, and the dresses and the costumes were really lovely, and I sat with them, and we played a game who I wanted to be with siblings and that sort of thing. So these were the cards when I was little. Then the playing cards, the Russian playing cards that we had so pretty queens and so manly kings and the jacks. The artwork was really beautiful on these, so I loved to sift through the cards. But reading cards, I started with playing cards also, and was at the age of 15 or 16. So this is how I got started. I found the book on how to read the cards from library and started to got a random playing card deck and started to learn with this one, and had a lot of aha moments and fun, and it was like the beginning of my journey. Question number 2: when and how did you get your first card deck? At the age of 16, when I found the book at the library, I went and bought the mouse fell off my couch thing, sorry. So when I found the book at the library, then I went and bought the deck of playing cards, and just it was simple as that. And when it was, I think, 1993, early 90s, 1992 or 1993. So next, number 3. How was it at first getting to know the cards? Oh, tarot cards. Tarot cards came a lot later. Back to the question number 2. Because I think I was afraid of tarot cards at the first and didn't feel drawn to them at all. The myths and also availability, they was available maybe in the late 90s and the early 2000s in my country, and then only Rider-Waite, etc. I had looked at them but didn't feel drawn. Like I said, I was a little bit afraid of them. And then one morning I woke up and I knew I needed a tarot deck right away. I didn't have any driver's license back then, and I lived in this little coastal village far from city, and then I went and printed out the black and white tarot, Rider-Waite tarot, and colored it with color pencils and made myself a deck. And while drawing or coloring, I understood that I get what they mean. I didn't have any books even, and I went from there and got my first printed tarot deck much later, in 2000 something. So, number 3, how was it at first getting to know the cards? Frustrating or easy? Playing cards, I struggled with. I began with only looking at the book and not even trying to memorize the meanings or making some kind of correlations between the cards, but it somehow stuck after a while. But I remember it was like every time I laid out the cards, I just read straight from the book. And with tarot cards it was like easy, because I just got this from the really beginning, and it was smooth sailing with tarot for me, at least with the Rider-Waite deck. And later on, when I got other decks, I got into collecting, which was earlier this year. Then I started to get different decks beside Rider-Waite standard, and I struggled with some, like the Marielle, struggle with it to this date, but mostly they are like, I see it. It's been really easy. So, number 4, what method did you use or do you use to get to know and bond with your new cards? Method. Like I said, with playing cards, I just went by the book until it just got stuck and I memorized, but I didn't play with meanings. I was like reading mostly by the book and how the cards correlated to each other. Then when I read some books and studied about numerology, I started to see that there's more to it, and used the numerology references in the playing cards, but it was like no method. I just developed something during, let's say, about maybe 6 or 8 years during that time. Bonding, not at all. I didn't use any. I had this one playing card deck and that was it. I just bought it and I started to shuffle and lay out the cards and read, and no bonding there. Tarot cards, what methods did I use? The self-drawing, and that was it, because this alone helped me to get the images and the meanings and the details on the cards. And then afterwards, when I read from the book what the cards really meant, or I realized that my idea of what's going on the cards are similar to what they really meant, something like that. And bonding with tarot decks, I just shuffle them and I crochet a pouch for each deck and put certain crystal with every deck, but no other types of bonding. I just work with it for a while when I get the new deck, and I just am using the deck, looking through the cards when I get the deck, and looking what the images are telling me, and this is like bonding thing. I also cleanse the decks, and part of the bonding for me is also when I feel the need to trim or edge the deck, because then I'm just hands-on with the deck for quite a while and then I feel the bonding during the trimming process or the edging process also. So these were the methods. Number 5, is there anyone in the family that was a card reader? My grandfather's aunt, which means she's my great aunt. She lived almost 100 years and was this little old lady who smoked filterless cigarettes like a chimney. I remember her fingers were all yellow. She was just chain smoking, and I was a little girl and sat with her by the kitchen table, and she just laid out the cards and then mumbled something by herself, and sometimes said something like this is not good, or I shouldn't go there, or something. It was so mysterious and so interesting, and when I asked her, she said she is divining or telling the future, or looking at or into the future. And for a child, I was like 5, 6 years old maybe. She died when I was 12, 13, something like that. and for a child, seeing the future was like, what witchery is this? And I didn't get it, but I was afraid to ask more because it was so mysterious and scary a little bit. But she used usual playing cards also, and I remember her deck was like her fingers, really rugged and old, and I haven't seen this type of deck of cards anywhere since. And I think the deck was really old too. But when she died, I don't know what became of the deck. So this is all I know. I don't know my father's side of the family because I haven't met my father. I only know about him, and I know he is of Russian culture, and as I know, the Russian people have these divination and mysterious things in their blood, I want to say. So maybe I got some from there. I know I got my temper from there, with which I have been working really hard not to let it control me, but I can control my emotions and temper, because Slavic people are quite hot-tempered, I want to say, compared to Estonians, who they even mock to be too hot people, because it's vice versa. Estonians are not. They are like cool and calm and this Nordic type of icy people, I want to say. So Russian people are like energetic and outspoken, but Estonians like sit and nod most of the time, and doesn't make friends easily and doesn't speak of their lives easily, and the cultural differences is quite large. So I have a little 50-50 in me, so for usual Estonians I'm too energetic, and for Russians I'm of course too dull. So yeah, no more card readers. I went on blabbering about something else for a while here, but I don't know half of my inheritance, so I have no idea what's going on the father's side of the family. But this is the only person I know and remember reading with cards. Many people in my family used cards for playing, and as I remember, everyone had a deck of cards, the playing cards at their home, but yep, usually for playing. Never seen anyone else lay out the cards and do something else than playing with them. So, long story short, here was my 5 answers to the tarotcartomancyfirsts hashtag by my simple path. Thank you for watching. Bye.